like a whole thing.
That's amazing.
That's a pretty good
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Agent Carter After Show. I'm Stephanie Tait, and you are watching us on theStream.tv or on YouTube, which means that you can then chat in. If you want to join in on the conversation, you can tweet at us at Agent Carter AS or use the hashtag Agent Carter AS. So I'm joined in studio with the most amazing supervillains in the entire world. To my left, Director of S.H.I.E.L.D., Bryan Scheidler.
I don't get it. What are you talking about?
Nothing.
Looks totally normal to me.
Totally normal.
Totally normal.
Nothing's different.
Hey guys, scratch cornea for the win. Hashtag scratch cornea.
And to my right is, of course, the amazing Steve drinks Scotch Tenney.
Steve drinks scotch like once a month.
I'd like to point out Steve is the one that scratched my cornea.
I did. I got long fingernails. I'm into it.
I mean, we were getting pretty excited about the Agent Carter show, so, I mean, things got dirty.
He said he didn't like Susan. I just wanted to scratch his eyes out. I don't know.
Everybody does.
Anywho.
So we're actually going to start off by talking about something before we get to the episode. An announcement was made today that Haley Atwell is signing on for another ABC pilot. Kind of exciting. I know a lot of people are worried because ratings have been low on Agent Carter that means there's not going to be a third season. Now, this can be one of two things. Either she's just going to be working a lot and it's all going to work out because this is a smaller series, or it does mean the death of it. I think we're actually going to get a third season. It has a pretty strong following. What do you guys think?
I am actually in my morning black because I think live it up while you can, folks. I think this show's over.
I thought you just hadn't done laundry.
No, there's that too. Like I was saying, the show's over. The ratings aren't as great as they were hoping for. Definitely nowhere near what they've been getting with S.H.I.E.L.D. and some of their Netflix-related shows. It's a period piece with no superpowers, and I hate to say it, a female lead, which doesn't draw in, unfortunately, the same viewership that other shows do.
Yeah.
Okay, but understand, just because a show is getting a pilot is no guarantee that it's going to actually go to series.
This is true.
I think it's ridiculous the amount of pilots that are actually shot that never see the light of day, or that don't even get like screened.
It's a very true statement.
So just because there's a pilot that's being filmed, and if you've read the description, it does not sound all that
Different from anything else?
exciting. But that doesn't mean, again, this is a short show. It takes, I think they film it in about a month and a half.
Yeah.
So her commitment is very limited. And if anyone who's listened to interviews from anyone who's worked as an actor that's from London, their work ethic is much different than the United States work ethic.
Yes.
It's a year-round job for them. So
Yeah.
I don't think this necessarily means anything.
I don't either. I think we can keep hope. So just keep tuning in. Just keep
Hashtag
watching the
Steve's
show.
Dead.
So that brings us to the show. This episode was interesting. Let's get initial reactions. Let's start with you, Director Fury.
Okay, so an episode full of innuendo. Actually, I actually had a good time with this episode.
Okay.
I loved the spoof on the Untouchables, that we had Peggy's little mod squad, her hit team of all of the outcasts.
Hashtag squad goals.
You know, it was fun. It was a heist episode, which, okay, but what I loved about it, Whitney now has a goal. She's not just experimenting. She's not trying to figure out what's going on. She has a goal. I don't necessarily think it's her goal. I think that goal may have been placed in her, and we can talk about that later. But she has a goal, and that's something she's been missing.
Yeah. What about you?
You know, on a purely standalone level, I enjoyed the show. It was fun to watch. I mean, there was plenty of comedy coming through. The Scooby Gang coming through was fun to watch as well.
Scooby Gang.
Scooby Gang.
Yeah, that's a better name.
It was fun. It was a fun episode to watch. All that being said, I found it extremely non sequitur with the rest of the series. It felt a little bit out of place.
Yeah.
That isn't to say that they can't make it, with future episodes, tie everything back together and have it make sense. It just, for me, it didn't work on a series level. So I'm thumbs down on it,
Yeah.
even though I did enjoy it.
All right. Okay. I'm with you. I felt like it was really out of place. I felt like it was relying too much on tropes and cliches. It felt incredibly shallow. Incredibly shallow. And it could have done so much more. It could have done a lot more to develop the characters. Yes, I think they were doing a better job with Whitney. But yeah, I just
Wasn't there.
Wasn't there for me. It didn't have me, in the feels.
What are you talking about, though? Like, they really developed over-attached scientist. I mean, he was...
Oh, he's so creepy.
We got his entire motivation in 2 sentences. He wants to be a field agent, and he's really into Rose.
Oh, that one. I thought you meant Jason Wilkes.
Oh, no,
No.
Jason Wilkes, he's...
Nope.
Everybody,
he's
just creepy.
I think Kurt Bronger is who we're talking about, who's the scientist who, he's a comedian who plays the scientist who works for S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah, where's the guy been? I just feel like we lost him, and now he's back, and now I'm supposed to believe that they're willing to entrust him with like top secret information.
That was the best part.
on.
That was like my best, my favorite thing about him is Peggy asks that exact question. She's like, can we trust him? She's like, oh yeah, nobody likes him. It's like the guy in the office everyone hates, you can totally trust.
No one's going to talk to him.
That
I
is,
get it.
see, that to me was like, okay, that is good writing.
Yeah.
Who knew it was that easy? Oh my goodness. Oh, nobody likes you? Okay, we can trust you. Cool.
He had the most awkward innuendos, though.
Oh,
Yeah, that
God.
whole sequence with Rose was just like, am I watching a family show still, or where we moved on to? Like, it just felt really weird to me.
And are we
It
still talking
was.
about pie, or what happened?
No, we were not. We were not talking about
Oh, God.
pie. Anywho,
So, anyways.
Well, moving on.
Seriously.
Now that I'm sufficiently creeped
yeah,
out,
so was I.
I do like that we got to see Peggy go into disguises and go into the field, although I still maintain that she is the worst spy. Period. Because she keeps revealing herself. Like, come on,
Yeah,
man. Like, I get, they wanted to do the thing with, like, the thing so that he lost his memory. I do not understand why the scene with her and Hugh just kept going on, and she was on top of him and undressing him.
It was the comic, the bit of the thing.
But it wasn't funny.
Oh, was it more
It's
science that didn't
gross.
work? Did Howard Stark invent it? Is that why it didn't work?
No, it
No.
totally worked.
But it didn't, because he
No.
had to use it like 15
That's
times.
what he said. That's if you remember the explanation, it erases short-term memory
Short-term
for 2
memory.
minutes.
Yeah.
She did it like 15 times in like
That's because she
45-second
didn't like
bit.
him. That was personal.
It's so unfortunate.
I will say her planning that we're gonna steal this dead body was a little. Wilkes wakes her up in the creepiest manner possible in the middle of the night.
Oh, man.
But then they wait until like an hour before the place is supposed to open to decide to break in, and they're so loud.
Oh, man.
Well, they're not cat burglars; they're spies.
No,
so,
she did not
and
wear.
they're not even really spies.
She did not wear her
so
tactical
much
turtleneck.
better. She should have been. Oh God, I feel like they're spending so much time developing Whitney as a character that Peggy is just really falling to the wayside, even though she's the title character. And instead of doing something about it, they're just relying on tropes. Like the scene where she, they have to go and take the body, and then Whitney gets there first, and she starts taking out the dark force from the body. Like, it just, the most important part of the entire show has now become Whitney.
Well,
I'm okay with the
Yeah.
villain being as important, or if not more, because you need the stakes to be high, and too often you have villains that are not. They're just not engaging,
Yeah, but I'm rooting for Whitney.
and that's okay.
yeah, it's funny.
Look at Marvel's audience. How much of the audience is rooting for Loki?
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, but there's a difference between Loki and Whitney. Loki's he's a ridiculous character. Because he is based on the God of Mischief, he's going to have a levity to him.
Right, but I mean, I feel like they gave us with Whitney this week is they were establishing, okay, yeah, she's doing terrible things and she's going about it not necessarily in the right way, but when you hear her motivation, she wants to change the world, make it better. It's just she's making it better through her warped and twisted vision.
Yeah.
And who's giving her that vision, I think, is ultimately the question that will play out this season. Because I don't think it's her vision. I think it's.
Someone
We'll get
else's.
into it. We'll get into it.
Well, I think it's interesting how the dark force is really I think that's what's manipulating her, because Wilkes did say that the dark force was coming from a place of pain and darkness, and
it definitely comes across like the dark force is sentient. What that means, what it looks like, I'm not willing to go there yet, but it definitely seems that it has a will.
Fine,
Yes.
I'll go there.
Brian,
Let me tell you what it means, since we're on the Dark Force now.
tell us, Ernstavo von Blofeld.
We've already... That's right. We've already been told that the Dark Force is how this season of Agent Carter is going to connect to the MCU via Doctor Strange, and that this is kind of how they're going to explain sorcery and magic. Well, the Dark Force, if you go into the comics, this Dark Force dimension, it's ruled by a character named Blackheart. Blackheart's the son of Mephisto, who in the comics has claimed he's the actual devil, although there's a lot of people who have claimed that, but whatever. When he is actually in his realm of the Dark Force dimension, which is where we get this stuff, he's omniscient, he's omnipresent, so he is literally the essence of this dimension. So if some of that has leaked through, you could say that it is him who's now possessing them. And that's why you have this, I was told to go get this. I was told we need to do this. And one of the biggest common threads with Blackheart or Dormammu, Mephisto, is that they want a foothold in this dimension.
In our realm.
So whether it is Blackheart or it's Dormammu, both who are viable candidates for the villain in Doctor Strange, it's totally possible that this is them kind of getting that foothold. Boom.
mic drop. Man,
Excellent.
I wish we had a mic
Excellent.
so you could just go poof.
Drop it. Dropped his phone, folks.
Done.
There you go.
That's how it's done on the Agent Carter after show.
It didn't break, it's okay.
It would have been worth it.
I know, it would have.
Well, here's my prediction. I think Jason Wilkes, we're finally going to find out that he is a bad guy, and that's why the Dark Force chose him. Because here's my thought. I think that the Dark Force only, I'm going to say only infests people that it feels it can either manipulate or have dark souls. And so I think that it chose Wilkes because he's a bad guy, and that's eventually going to become revealed. Because he's gonna try to become solid anyway.
So
that
it
he
was
can.
looking for a soul that was pliable.
Yes.
See,
Okay.
I'm not willing to go there quite yet. I do have a theory on Wilkes and Whitney, how they play together. Wilkes requires the dark matter, the dark force, to regain his wholeness, while Whitney taking on the dark matter is breaking apart her wholeness. They serve as yin and yang to each other.
I like that. Look at you all deep and philosophical.
That's right, folks. I'm a smarty. No, but the reality of it is they play off each other, and I think that eventually we'll see as the season goes on that you're going to have to destroy one to destroy both, or both to destroy one. I don't think Wilkes, even if he is a good guy or a bad guy, I don't think he's going to make it through the year, because I think they're going to have to get him gone so that Whitney's gone as well.
Oh,
Thanks for that, Harry
darn.
Potter.
So you're the man who lived.
Sure.
Let's.
I don't
let's
know
go
anything
with
about
that.
Harry Potter, folks, so.
Well, make sure to join in on the conversation either through the YouTube chat or on Twitter at Agent Carter AS, or using the hashtag Agent Carter AS. So I love this so much. So one of my favorite parts of the whole episode was when Whitney and Chadwick went to the wonderful potential Blackwing.
Oh, so good.
So good, because now we get to see the magia come in. Am I saying that right?
Magia?
Magia?
I'm gonna go with yes.
Magia. But I see, what I love is that scene where he's ruthlessly beating a man to the ground. Chadwick's freaking out, and Whitney's just like, "Aw, that's my boo." that's
Ken Marino for the win on that role, by the way. He really got, we've heard about him coming all season long, and to actually see him, I'm a big fan. I think that guy's hilarious, so he came
Yeah.
across well.
Well, that scene was totally, I think it woke a lot of people up who were maybe watching the episode and were like, okay, this is just kind of a by-the-numbers episode. And then it's just like, hey, come here. And then he just proceeds to beat the snot out of this guy. And it's
because
like,
he was disrespecting his guests. I mean, he's doing what he's got to do.
Right, because that's what was happening, and it wasn't a clear message to the husband.
Yes.
Treat Whitney correct, or I will beat the living snot out of you, and you will disappear.
Joseph Manfredi for the win.
P.S. He will not be showing up at any point as Blackwing.
You don't think so?
No, he will not be showing up as an acrobat from the Circus of Crime.
I love the Circus of Crime. Come on, that's amazing. Maybe he'll get to fight Black Widow. No,
How
that's
old
not
will
like
he
a
be
thing.
at that
That's not a thing.
point?
That's
No,
not-
we are not going to get
70.
the Circus of Crime. If you don't know what we're talking about, Blackwing is a character who's like an acrobat in this traveling crime syndicate. They use this circus as a means to go rob places, and he does the flying stuff, and he looks like he's Birdman on it, but like with black.
Yeah.
He's wonderful.
We won't be seeing that. I could totally see though a shout out to he calls a group that he has his Blackwing, or he's the Blackwing of the
Heavy metal.
the secret council,
There has
something
to be
like
heavy
that.
metal. I hope it's heavy metal.
Stop it.
Well, speaking of other characters, we finally got to have Violet and Rose back. It took them, 4 episodes to bring them back? But man, did they come back. Rose was amazing in the field.
Okay, wait. Rose is the Heimdall of the SSR. Think about it.
Oh, man.
Think about it. Take a minute, because as soon as it clicks,
She sees everything.
she's the guardian.
Yeah.
She sees everything that goes on in their domain, and she's totally badass.
And she kind of controls the Rainbow Bridge because she controls the entrance and exit
Exactly.
into the office. I get it.
No, it's
Okay.
there.
All
It's there.
right.
You know what that is?
Yeah?
That's my evil genius mind at work.
Because the patch.
The eye patch made me brilliant.
The eye
Oh,
patch.
man.
But what about Violet? Man, she's just getting the raw end of the deal. She and Sousa finally get engaged, and she saves the day when Peggy impales herself on a pipe, and then after Violet magically heals her, she's suddenly like, "Oh, I'm fine to drive home and move
Yeah,
around."
let's focus on this for just
Wait.
a quick second here.
Really quick,
Yeah.
Violet's the first night nurse.
Yeah, she does.
She is
plays that role
legitimately the first night nurse.
There's
She's
a-
the first nurse that healed our heroes in secret
at night.
True.
at night.
Let's
it.
talk about the fact that Peggy, fell roughly, I would say, 15 to 20 feet.
I would have
onto-
said like 30 to 40.
Okay, more than that. Sure. I was being conservative, but sure. Onto a pile of cinder blocks, and a piece of rebar went through her. All right.
Yeah.
If the peritonitis or sepsis doesn't kill her from the rebar, which has God knows what on it, her entire spine is shattered on a pile of cinder blocks. She's Peggy Pool. She's unkillable.
Steve, as we've discussed, and I'm pretty sure anyone who remembers our previous episodes will remember, we've already addressed this. People were tougher back then. That's how Dottie survived the bag of gold to the back of the head.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
People are just stronger. And this is a complete and appropriate spy flick trope.
Yeah.
You can get hit by a car, you can get the living snot beat out of you, and you will be fine.
You know what I think it is? I think it's because she was actually infused by the Dark Force. I think this is going to be a thing. I think that's
You
because...
mean when she got grabbed by Whitney?
No, when
blowback
the
from
explosion
when it
first happened and
happened,
the
yeah.
mist went through her. Because remember when Whitney got hit, she said, I thought that was going to hurt more. So if Peggy's able to fall, get impaled, and then, walk home, essentially, yeah,
She
no.
had a Woody. I mean, the car,
That
it was a
so
Woody.
awkward. So awkward. What's
No
wrong with
comments.
you? On
No
that
comments.
note, we will be right back with your fan questions in just a minute. You're so awkward.
You know, I do what I can.
Why would you do that?
It was Jarvis.
Just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
Oh, you'd want to take the time travel the whole way back.
How did you not
Figure it out.
We had a crazy vampire threesome.
And you can't unsee that. That's burned into my brain now.
I was like,
How did you get here? No. Look at me, I'm dancing. You know why we saying yes. You know why we saying yes.
He was like, yeah, I'll tell you whatever you want.
He is quite something.
and we're like, inseparable. She was shadier than Sunglass Hut with Ray-Bans on sale, ladies and gentlemen.
No, it wasn't. So come on.
You just went to a totally different direction on that.
When a billionaire goes broke, it means he's got like $4 million.
Hold the phone,
Hold on.
bro.
I found her to be deliciously out of control.
Oh man, looking forward to this fight.
Ooh, they about to get together. Watch, it's about to go down.
Somebody better take some pictures of this.
She just slapped the crap out of Nick.
And he's just
It's so good.
You can't count anything out.
Look at you.
It's been another awesome night at theStream.tv, guys.
Thank you for joining us, you guys.
Yes.
We love you.
He dies in the end, Steve.
Every time he dies.
Welcome back, you guys. We are going to go to the Twitter universe. So let's see what Steve has for us.
So we're going to start off with @Mousawop says, "Oh, I love how they hid a Civil War Easter egg in the episode. #Agent Carter. #2x05.
Woohoo!
So what I think she's referring to is the Civil War Antiques van.
Yeah.
That there you go. That floats through. Yeah, definitely. Marvel's putting a lot of eggs in that basket. So any chance they get to
man.
subconsciously get it in there, they're going to do it.
Very well done. I feel like my mantra for this episode has been "Oh man." I think I've said "Oh man" like 18 times, but it's just applicable. Well done, Marvel.
Lots of oh mans. Moving on to @ImpalerGeneral. That's a good one, man. You deserve
If
an
this
award for
comment
that.
isn't about Peggy getting impaled, I quit.
It is not.
Okay,
Oh,
I
It
quit.
says,
bye, Bryan Scheidler.
Bryan, go home. If Chadwick remembered his wife can swallow people, he wouldn't have called the council. I think he called the council because she can swallow people. He is terrified. He doesn't know what to do with this chick. She could turn around and just absorb him in the middle of the night. The guy's asleep. He's terrified of her.
Also, she is acting very psycho killer. Like he's in the closet, turns around, she's just there.
Oh, I love that moment.
That moment was just like,
She's like, "Good, you're awake."
what are you doing?
Chadwick's in way over his head. He was way over his head with the Arena Club, and now with the psycho murderer absorbing wife, he's way over his head.
Bless his heart. And now the Magia.
And now them.
Magia.
Moving on to @Annie Wolfsbane, #Agent Carter. Could we please stop with Sousa's pining after Peggy? He's a horrible choice for her. She deserves a much better man.
Agreed.
I am actually a Sousa Peggy fan.
I'm dumbfounded by this tweet.
Yeah, so Sousa is like the
Completely.
Mind you, it's California, but he's the best guy in California.
Yeah, that says something.
I mean, it
it's
is.
so hard to date in LA.
I mean, besides Jarvis, but Jarvis is married.
Jarvis is
when are we
taken.
getting
Spoken
Anna
for.
back,
yeah,
by the way?
I have no idea what's going on with us just losing women left, right, and center.
Well, we brought Rose back.
Let's focus for a second,
And
real
Violet.
quick, on this tweet itself. You don't want Sousa to end up with Peggy. I don't understand you, Annie Wolfsbane. I want to. Tweet at me. My Twitter is @10Stevens. Tweet at me and explain to me why you don't want Peggy to end up with Sousa. It needs to happen. It needs to happen.
See, I agree with her because I think he's just not strong enough for her. Because, he's pining after her. He wants her to be with him and everything else. And then the minute she's like, yeah, let's do this. He literally moves across the country.
We don't know that. Stop.
Oh,
we do not know what
we
happened.
do.
We know they were essentially in the courtship phase, but something happened. Something happened, and he needed to get away. It didn't mean his feelings for her had diminished, but there was something about the relationship that he felt uncomfortable with.
Yeah, it's because he's like, she's too much woman. I
Okay.
can't handle all the feels.
No.
That's
Is
not
it
it.
fair to say that she was
not
still
it.
pining over Steve? She did the whole goodbye, Steve, but you can't shut off feelings like that.
Listen,
He is
this
Captain
guy
America.
has been through so much.
Yeah.
With everything that he's been through with the war, there's definitely, you got to give the guy the ability to see he gets this woman who's more than capable. Peggy is super capable, and he himself is disabled. There's a lot to be said for a man having some issues reconciling that he is less than able and married to a woman who he feels like he should at least be equal with, who is more than able than him. There's a lot to that. Whether or not it's necessarily a good thing, I'm not willing to say on that one. What I am willing to say is I think there's something to be said for it, that there could definitely play into that.
I don't know. I think one of the reasons why Violet works for him is she's the kind of woman who, when he comes home from work, you know,
Yeah.
she'll be there, and he can just be like, "Oh, hey, honey,
She's safe.
You're not in my world, so I'll make you a
But
steak
at
dinner."
the same time, she knows his world.
Right, she's
She
not
knows
in
his
it, but not
world.
of it. That's why I think she's a better match for him than Peggy would be.
Right.
I think it's like the joke from Adam's Rib. You know, lawyers marry other lawyers and then make more lawyers. You know, you're just you're gonna have a bad spy with a bad spy, and they're just gonna have babies and make more bad spies.
More bad spies.
Well,
Let us know what you think.
yeah. Explain
Tweet at
that
us.
one.
Let us know if you think we're completely wrong, or if you think they're wrong and I'm right.
She's not.
Which is not the
Obviously,
case at all.
obviously.
Agent Carter
It's on
AS.
me.
Use it. Tell us.
So let's see what the live fan question
Okay,
is. I hope it's just somebody agreeing with us.
Well, first off, really quick, go. Yes, it is the Magia. You can check like on Wikipedia and whatever, and just find the background of these characters. But that's going to be the Magia.
Yeah.
I think even though it wasn't said by name, I think everyone is.
Are you going to give us
Which-
the question that it came from?
Well, right,
she
but
was
really,
just,
really quickly before.
The question was just, those were the Magia, like
Yes,
a question.
they were the
Yeah,
Magia.
but before we even get into that little fun history bit, the Magia, they think, was named the Magia because they couldn't actually outright say the Mafia when they appeared in the 60s because the Mafia was funding so much of comic books at the time.
It's essentially what
pretty cool.
Space Odyssey did with HAL
Yes.
versus IBM.
Yeah,
they wanted
one
to use
step above
IBM, but it's
IBM.
just one.
One letter to the left.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so what question do we have?
Let's see. I'm just there's just a lot of like comments about
Brian's eye patch.
a lot of comments about my eye patch. Thank you, Andrew.
'Cause it's cool.
Cantabine. He said, "Ha, Ernest Stavro Blofeld. It's funny. Someone get this guy a white cat."
He needs it.
Cats aren't allowed in the studio. Sorry.
I'm allergic.
They don't sit still for the cameras, which is awful. Yeah, they're asking about Gogo was asking about the mob dude.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the Magia, the guy who went Joe Pesci on
Manfredi.
the other guy.
Yeah.
of it.
Oh, I
good
love that scene. That was such a. I feel like that was one of the best scenes.
But to explain why, another reason why we feel so strongly this is the Magia, they're the big mafia group in the country with East Coast and West Coast,
And they have
branches. And Whitney essentially is in the head family.
Yes.
Yeah, she was one of the leaders.
Right.
She took over from her father.
Her dad is the one who really kind of ran it at certain times. But that's why she looks so comfortable. It's not because this was just a guy she dated. She's comfortable because she knows who they are.
She knows it.
Yeah.
And I will say I'm a little disappointed in you viewers out there that nobody has commented on the horrific portrait of Howard Stark that they keep showing whenever
Of
they're in
Stalin?
his lab.
You mean
Stalin
Stalin?
meets Hitler combined to form Howard's portrait. It's awful. It's terrifying. I can't watch it anymore.
Oh my goodness. Well, on that
Especially for the fact they brought attention to it.
Yeah, like over and over again. It's a horrifying portrait.
why would you want that
You
looking
need to
at
be
you while you
careful,
sleep?
otherwise I would have shot Howard. Yes.
That is so unfortunate. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to subscribe to theStream.tv here on YouTube. And you can tweet at us all week at Agent Carter AS or using the hashtag Agent Carter AS. And you can tweet at us personally so you can let us know that
You won't
I'm
spin it.
right
waiting
and they're
for you.
wrong.
Waiting for you.
This is going to get ugly on Twitter, I just have a feeling.
It's
down
gonna-
there.
It's gonna get something. So
Yeah, use that. It's gone.
make sure to search for our Facebook group, Agent Carter After Show, and join in on the private conversation.
Tweet us if you want to join the Facebook group. We
Yeah.
will bring you in.
Yeah, we'll bring you in. It's
We know a
a
guy.
lot of fun. We know 3. So thanks so much, you guys, and have a great week.
Good night, guys.
Bye.